Look at this guy. It's May. What is the date today? 14th, 2022. Weber State. George ain't gonna let me feed them rabbits. Just getting ready to do some work on Mark Hoffman, and because everybody's called me under the banner of heaven, and I knew Hoffman, and you know Lafferty was his cellmate. Everybody wants to know. I used to live in New York, and when I was in Lower Manhattan, hanging around down there working on Wall Street, and then when I lived in Brooklyn, not raised himself, the old man used to call me Lost Boy. Say, Lost Boy, come here. They want to hear your accent. Well, I'd wind him up too. You really from Utah? Yeah. Hoffman did his work in here. A lot of his work. Stewart Library. So, there's a lot of detail and a lot of stories. I need to write some books. All roads lead to Ogden. Peter Skeen Ogden never set foot in Ogden. His father was a judge in Montreal. He was wanted for a murder, yeah. And go west, young man, is what they used to say. Well, what's that all about? They didn't want to house these criminals in the east, so they'd put them on a train, send them out west. Well, where did the train stop? Oh, it stopped in Ogden. And so Peter Skeen Ogden never set foot in Ogden. You know, he went to Oregon, but it's named Ogden, rightfully. And oh, was he a rotten, nasty, evil? So was James Fremont. We have a high school here named after him. I mean, whoa, even the United States military stripped him of all his stuff. So it's a proper name for Ogden, which I call Blood. You know, Melvin Dumar forged the will right there. I knew Melvin good, really good. I mean, his mom and dad's little store on 16th and Childs. That's where all the teenagers used to buy their beer. Anyway, Hoffman and Lafferty were cellmates. You know about the suicide, well, it wasn't suicide, when those people in Springville mixed up the Kool-Aid and fed to their children, and then did themselves a few years ago. Guess who they'd been visiting in prison? Oh yeah, Hoffman. George, you're gonna let me tend them rabbits. You're Freudian, Blanche. You're the most Freudian dude ever. How could I not be? I was raised by the likes of Bernard DeVoto and Fawn McKay Brody. Yeah, they're both from here. The two greatest Freudian writers in history, Steinbeck. My favorite Steinbeck story is his Irish grandmother on the Hamilton side used to put out a bowl of milk up there in Big Sur for the leprechauns. Somebody went to her and says, you ever think that bowl of milk's getting drank by a wild animal or a feral cat? He said they looked at it. She stared his nose off his face. I'll do more work on this Lost Boy Blanche. The girl that I was involved with worked at the coffee shop by Wall Street in Lower Manhattan. Every morning we'd go in there, and the Princeton guys would always say, come here, Blanche, I want to hear your accent. And I'd wind them up like no other. She says, I never heard anybody. She loved it. Oh, I would go off and tell them all kinds of crazy stories. You know, just make shit up. Because they were like, I remember one guy asked me, you really from Wyoming? I'm like, yeah. You got roads out there? Hell no, we ain't got roads out there. Should tell you what we do on the weekends? Lost Boy, come here. Come here. I'm the guy that got the Polygamy Porter beer into Trader Joe's and the Moose Rule in Lower Manhattan. What a journey this has been, huh? So I should write a book just on the infamous Mormon Utah murders. Gilmore. I mean, so many of them. I mean, it's incredible stories. Absolutely incredible stories. Lafferty's, you know, I lived it. You know, the Allreds, the Chernoffs, the Romneys. You know, these rival clans. Edward Abbey did his work in here. Melvin Dumar forged Howard uses will in here. Mark Hoffman.